Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about a topic that I think a lot of you all will be excited to hear, which is another really bullish price target on Tesla stock, and especially when we compare that price target to where the stock is currently at right now, which is near an all-time high that we got today, and it is currently at $649.24 per share. However, this new price target that we'll be discussing today is going to involve a 300% increase from where Tesla stock is at right now, which is very notable in the sense that I can only think of a few price targets off the top of my head, such as from ARK Invest and the bull case from Dan Ives, and then you could also consider the recent Goldman Sachs one of $780, but only those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head that are actually pretty bullish for Tesla stock. So like I said, this is not only very notable in the investing world, but specifically the Tesla stock world as well, because this is getting up there with like a Cathie Wood ARK Invest style price target, and a lot of you all know this about me already, but I'm always really appreciative of someone that is willing to be bold and make a statement in the stock market world that they're likely going to be criticized for, but they stand for that statement anyways. They provide their reasoning and they justify it, and then they're commonly judged and criticized based on that justification. But I have a lot of respect for someone that is willing to go out there and make a statement that they believe in and try to back it up with evidence and reasoning and justification, and that's why I have a lot of respect towards Cathie Wood and Tasha Keeney, not only because they're bold in the statements that they're making, but also because they're backing it up with research and evidence and reasoning that makes it pretty hard to dispute what they're saying. So with today's video, we're covering another one of these bullish price targets, I guess you would call it. It's not really as official as like a price target you would see from analysts from a firm such as Goldman Sachs or something like that, but in general, this person is giving us a time frame, he's giving us a percentage increase and also a share price that he expects to see by this time frame, and he's providing justification for that. So I really think this is interesting. You all know that anytime we have someone being bold in the stock market and making a statement that especially involves Tesla stock and one that is a bullish statement, I always like to pay attention to that, because commonly you will see some pretty reasonable insight from those people that are making these statements, because as we know, Tesla is just one of these companies that hasn't really been picked up on until lately, and we're starting to see a great awakening around the stock and the realization of this company's potential, and that's just something that gets me excited, because it seems like people are starting to get on board with what a lot of us have been saying for a while, and especially what a lot of retail investors have been saying about Tesla stock before this year. That's when it was really tough to be a lot more bullish on Tesla, and it's a little bit easier nowadays because we have a lot of institutional investors jumping on board. We have Jim Cramer on board. You have the ARK Invest prophecy coming true, so it's a lot easier to be bullish on Tesla this year, but I would still say it's still pretty difficult in the sense that you will face some criticism, especially in the institutional investor world and in the analyst world. I know that even Dan Ives, when he upgraded his bull case for Tesla stock recently, I saw so much criticism with this upgrade, talking about how it was out of reality and all of those things. But in my opinion, those are people that simply don't understand why people are buying the stock right now, which is to invest in its long-term growth future, even if you have to pay a premium up front. As we know, that's just how it goes nowadays with a lot of these growth stocks. But anyways, please make sure to smash that like button if you enjoy the Tesla videos. And before we get into this price target, let's just take a look at Tesla stock's performance for today. And one could say that this might have had a little bit of an influence on the movement for today, because otherwise there's not really that many news pieces that could have driven this movement upwards. Sometimes we see this happen organically, which I think that's a little bit of it as well, in combination with institutional investors buying in, retail investors buying in before S&P 500 inclusion. But it's probably likely that this news piece today might have had a very slight effect, at least on the movement of the share price. But just taking a look at this, we are currently at a share value of $649.24 per share, and in the normal market hours today, we had a plus 7.13% gain. That is plus $42.72 added onto the share price, and then in the after hours, we are at plus 1.17%, which is plus $7.48 added onto the share price. So now that that's all out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at this price target and this recent news piece. This is an article by Markets Insider and author Emily Graffeo, so as always, we greatly appreciate this information. But as the article title states, Tesla could soar another 300% as the company expands its tech outside the auto industry, a prominent VC investor says. Getting right into this one, it begins by stating Tesla could soar over 300% to $2,500 in the next 3 years, the venture capitalist and veteran tech analyst Gene Munster told CNBC on Monday. A move like that would push Tesla's market capitalization, now $567 billion, to over $2 trillion. Only one other US listed company, Apple, has passed that number. And even before we continue on with this right here, Apple is commonly a company that I have referenced in past videos to Tesla, and I see a lot of similarities when it comes to this disruptive innovation and sort of that iPhone effect that we saw, where there was nothing like that ever developed before or available to customers. And then once the iPhone came out, it changed the world forever. We spend a lot of our time every day on our phones, and we use it for productivity, we use it for entertainment, we use it for interacting with friends and family. It has changed our lives, and I've compared that to Tesla in the past in the sense that I think a Tesla in the future, especially with robo-taxis, will change your lives forever. And as this company continues to grow in the future, we're going to likely see infotainment options once autonomy is fully developed. Then we're going to see that change the world forever in the sense that robo-taxis could be used for different businesses and delivery services. It could be used in so many different ways that provide revenue for different companies, yet also a lot of high margin software revenue for Tesla as well. And that plays a big role in market cap growth in the future, in my opinion. But just taking a look at the rest of what he says, it states, the Loop Ventures co-founder said Tesla would evolve over the next few years to become more than just a car company. Quote, they're really going to take their tech that they're defining and pioneering with auto and applying it to new markets, he said. Munster discussed Tesla CEO Elon Musk's recent comments that the company might enter the insurance business or the HVAC space. Quote, Elon has recently said that there's 30% to 40% of the value of the car could be in insurance, Munster said. Then he continues stating, what that means is that they can start offering their own insurance and improve margins. That's high margin revenue, not to mention everything they're doing around over-the-air updates with autonomy and what they can even do around HVAC. So just addressing this so far, I like these points and I like the insight that we're getting here. This is a person with some very reasonable statements. We're talking about high margin revenue with autonomy and with insurance, with that being vertically integrated. And I want to emphasize that high gross margins are really what's going to propel Tesla as a growth company in the future. If we were just judging Tesla based on vehicle sales and battery sales and that was it, then of course one could be a little bit more conservative about the future market cap of this company. But as Gene Munster states here, there's a lot of opportunity for high margin revenue. And if we take a look at Apple right now, that's one of the reasons it's making billions and billions of dollars, which comes from commissions from apps. And then also you have Apple Music and Apple TV Plus, a lot of subscription based revenue that has the potential for high margins. And that's where really Tesla has a huge advantage in the future, especially if they can master autonomy, because the robotaxi revenue, not only just selling FSD packages, but also the robotaxi in itself to operate, that's just going to make a lot of sense in terms of that vertical integration. There's going to be high margin revenue based on those FSD packages, and then also some pretty solid revenue coming from the robotaxi service as well, making transportation cheaper than ever. And I really like the fact that Gene is focusing on this high margin revenue, because that is what will make this a multi-trillion-dollar company, or at least make it a lot easier to achieve that. We really have to see Tesla taking advantage of these high margin revenue services if we want to see them grow tremendously. And so far that looks like it's exactly their plan with the insurance service, FSD package, subscription service, and robotaxi revenue. There's a lot of potential for growth happening in the future because of these things and because of this high margin revenue. And that's what he's really emphasizing here, in addition to the HVAC systems, which is something that has really not been focused on, but it has been mentioned by Elon Musk. I think once Tesla's done focusing on some of these other things, or at least if they have a chance to get their hands in another pie, then they will start to focus on HVAC systems. It just makes sense for the Tesla ecosystem and what they're trying to build right now. It continued stating Munster also pointed to flying taxis as another frontier Tesla could expand to that could propel its stock price. Quote, I would not invest in Tesla based on that, but the concept that this company is going to continue to evolve and be a tech leader in the next decade, I'm on board with that, he said. So I don't know if I necessarily agree that we could see flying taxis, maybe something a little bit different like an electric aircraft or VTOL or something like that. However, the general point is being drilled in right here, and we can't let that one sentence about flying taxis distract from what Gene is trying to say here, which I think his point is that Tesla is going to continue to evolve and be a tech leader. That's really the important part right there, at least to me, because I think that his main point he's drilling in is that Tesla is not a complacent company. Even when they reach the top, it just doesn't seem like they're the type of company to sit on their riches and not innovate anymore. I just don't see Tesla doing that. And if it ever does get to that point in the future, let's say multiple decades in the future, where I see Tesla kind of lacking in innovation and not really thinking about how they can change the game anymore, then that would be when I would see the fundamentals changing, and I would possibly consider entering another position in a different company, or simply not investing more in this company. But I think that's the point that he's trying to drill in right there, even aside from flying taxis, which is that Tesla will likely not ever remain complacent, and that's their advantage. They're constantly changing, and that's something that we don't even see across many of the major tech companies out there, and that's its major advantage. He also stated, quote, "The ship has failed for traditional auto companies to compete with Tesla." He said Volkswagen and General Motors were in the best positions, quote, "to even remotely compete with the electric vehicle maker." And this is a good point as well. I think that out of the legacy automakers, it probably will be Volkswagen or General Motors, more so Volkswagen, but I actually think some of these brand new EV startups that have started with EVs only from scratch, I think there's a lot of opportunities for those companies to even dominate on some of the legacy automakers out there, because it's just going to be so costly to have that transition from ICE vehicles, and even the tooling within the factories, it's going to be so costly. So they're either going to have to spin off with a legacy auto, or there's simply just going to be a lot of new EV companies that will likely dominate a lot of the older legacy auto companies. It then continues with another quote by him stating, "But really, there's no substance competition. Again, they're going to evolve outside of cars longer term," he said of Tesla. It ends by stating, "The venture capitalist who spent over 20 years as a tech analyst on Wall Street said Apple could be the biggest company to compete with Tesla over the long term. Quote, whatever their ambitions are in vehicles, I mean, it's been really quiet there. I'm not expecting anything in the near term, but that as a Tesla investor, that would be the one announcement that would cause me to step back and rethink things," Munster said. That article basically ends right there, but he kind of drilled in another point at the end there, stating that Tesla is not just going to be a car company long term, and this is a major realization that I think we're starting to see among many analysts out there. That's kind of the common mistake that has been made in the past, in the sense that Tesla has been judged as an auto company only. That's a major mistake. Tesla is a tech company that happens to be working with vehicles right now, and I don't think they're just going to be loyal to vehicles only in the future, and that's something even right now where we're seeing them produce solar panels, battery storage, power walls, and other things, and especially if we get into HVACs in the future, and they also specialize in a lot of software development and things like that. So as I stated, Tesla is really a tech and software company who happens to be working with vehicles right now because there's a chance for disruptive innovation, and especially with autonomy as well. And that autonomy can be used as vertical integration in the future for their deliveries, for their supply chains, and many things like that that can actually help them build their company from the inside out even more and from the ground up. So there's a lot of opportunity in the future here, at least in my opinion, for Tesla to expand outside of just energy storage and outside of vehicles. I think there's going to be some additional things there as well. Whether Tesla ever gets into electric aircrafts or electric boats, I think there's some opportunity there. And of course, they have to prioritize the EV transition first off, but I honestly don't see them stopping after electric road vehicles. I think that could eventually continue to electric aircrafts, and then also, like I said, HVAC systems, simply other products that would contribute to the Tesla ecosystem, and something that would almost give them like a monopoly in the energy world when it comes to energy tech. Anyways, I think Gene Munster is onto something with this price target right here, and it's certainly not anything to laugh at least in my opinion. But as always, of course, please make sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed this video, and also feel free to check out my referral links in the description below to Robinhood and Webull. Especially Webull right now, you can get 4 free stocks in total, 2 valued up to $250 for signing up with my referral link, and then you can get another 2 valued up to $1,600 by depositing $100 into your Webull account. You can take that $100 right back out after you get your free stocks. That's what I did, and it worked for me. Just wanted to let you all know about that, since it's nice passive income with minimal effort, and it helps support the channel as well, which I really appreciate. But I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week.